Okay. Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday for me, and happy whatever day for you. I hope you had a lovely weekend. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the yes and the no, like the power in the yes and the power in the no. Because I was reflecting on the importance of when I give a yes and when I give a no. And the reason why I was thinking about this one is I have this opportunity that just showed up for me to do something that can help me professionally and, of course, in my personal life, because the way I see it is everything is connected. It's all happening. There's life and then there's areas of life. And in the past, I'm learning. In the past, I would just say yes to it and run and go with it, because that's just kind of how I am. My nature is like, yes, go, go, go. We'll figure it out later. And I'm learning that sometimes it's helpful to take a moment to reflect and then choose who I want to reflect with. So in this example, I was very specific and very mindful. Like, I want to speak to someone that knows me and someone that has a very objective view when it comes to business and when it comes to investments and when it comes to forecasting. Because right now, I'm really, really focused on having a solid foundation for my finances, where I have clarity on my budgeting, forecasting. So I've always been good at budgeting in, my banking and all that stuff. And when I shifted from self-employed to being full-time employed somewhere, I kind of didn't have to do that because there was this constant flow of my salary. So I was fine. When things shifted and I went back to being full-time self-employed, I decided not only am I going to forecast for my business and for the sales, but I'm also going to do that for my personal, banking. Like, I want to have a clear view all across. So having said that, I was reflecting on, this opportunity came up, and I'm thinking about, I like it. It inspires me and it motivates me. I really, really want to do it. And then I paused and thought, but am I really, like, what am I missing? I could feel something in me was saying, you're missing something. You're missing something. So I started reflecting on, what am I missing? And as a result of that reflection, I started exploring who would be the right person to support me with this in this conversation. And I started going through my core values, the things that matter to me the most. And I did a little assessment, like, who I'm looking for someone that is going to be objective, that's going to understand and respect my passion. I'm looking for someone that is going to be able to see at 30,000 feet what's happening, and someone that knows me well enough to say something, like either, yes, go for it because X, Y, Z, or someone that says, have you considered this thing? And there's so much in this whole exploration, because some people would have the perspective of, why are you going to someone to look for approval? Whereas other people may be saying, why can't you just make the decision on your own? And I agree with those examples to a certain degree. There's certain things, there's certain decisions that need to be made on an individual level. Just like when people choose to be in a relationship, there's certain decisions that need to be made just between the couple, not the couple and the friends and the couple and the neighbors and the couple and the in-laws. There's certain decisions that are just for the people in the relationship. In this case, I'm the person in the relationship with myself and my business. And I was really reflecting, like, who can I ask? Like, could I ask my best friend, who I'm always joking around with, and we mainly talk about relationships and we mainly talk about, just random stuff. no. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying that's not the person. That's coming to a point in our lives when we actually get to discern and we actually get to maybe accept, could be the right word. Where do we go for what? And the types of conversations we have with different people. So here we have our little guest, Frijolito. Hello, hello. Yeah. So he just decided he wanted to join in the fun. Yeah. So anyway, as a result of that, I was reflecting on like who am I going to talk to and what kind of conversation do I want to have? Because I was like being transparent. I knew that I was rushing to say yes to this opportunity. And I knew that if I just wanted to ignore that and rush into it, I could go to one person that, for the most part, tends to tell me, yes, that's a good idea, go for it. Yes, that's a good idea, go for it. And I'm learning as I get older, some people that I value in my life will be best at certain conversations than others. And that was hard for me at the beginning because I wanted to believe that everybody could help me with everything and that I could have a conversation about anything with anyone. And I've learned, I wouldn't say the hard way, but it was kind of hard. But I've learned through my process and my journey that no, there's certain people that we want to have conversations about certain things. And then there's certain people that we just don't need to or should or can have conversations about other things. So having said that, I reached out to the one person that I thought, okay, I know he'll definitely support me with that. So I reached out and I said, hey, I have a question. I'm bouncing back and forth between this opportunity. I feel like I'm missing something. So even given the context of, I feel like I'm missing something and I'm not sure what it is. Can you help me out? His reply was, yeah, sure, of course. So we got on the call and I started telling him, okay, before we continue, let me give you the background. This is what this is. This is what I'll do. This is what the investment is. And this is what it can offer me back. I really want to do it, but there's something that I feel like I'm missing something. And he sat there and he said, yeah, let me see. So he started asking me a couple of questions. He's like, have you considered this part? I mean, if you do it, there's benefit. However, the benefit's going to come, X amount of months down the line, not right now. And so as the conversation went on, I realized how beautiful it was to find places or to have spaces with people in my life that I can sit down and have an open conversation in a safe way, that when they offer their perspective, it comes from a place of, here's what could potentially happen. If you do that, this could happen. If you do that, this could happen. If you do that, this could happen. Have you thought about this other option? Because what that does for me is it really invites me to explore a bunch of different perspectives. And the reason that's important for me is, well, the whole point of this conversation, the powerful yes and the powerful no. I want to say yes to something that feels really good. I want to say yes to something that deep in my bones, I know enough. And the information I have, it's clear. And I know what I'm saying yes to. Just like when I say no, I want to say no to something and feel confident and feel good about it. And this example is one, because last week I had a feeling, I was like, I'm missing something and I want to say no, but I don't want to miss out. I don't want to say no and then it's gone. What am I missing? And I just kept thinking and reflecting about it. And I took the weekend to, just leave it alone, let it rest. After the conversation I had today, I realized I'm ready to have my conversation with the people that are asking for this opportunity. And I feel very comfortable And I feel very ready to say, no, thank you. And not only no, thank you, but no, thank you, not now. I have a plan for the future. So I was able to turn that opportunity, instead of feeling like I'm saying no and I'm missing out on something. It was like, I'm saying no right now, and I'm going to use that to motivate me for next year. Because next year, I know I can do it. I know I can. And this experience that I'm having right now, it's, of course, me being me. I apply it to everything at work, in relationships with friends, in relationships, intimate relationships, relationships with family, relationships with myself, right? There are certain things that I feel like I really want to do something, and something inside of me saying no, or there's something inside of me says, yes, do it. And outside, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. The beautiful moment to, one, pause, to reflect. Two, if I'm stuck or if I feel like I'm missing something, just how amazing it is to know that there are people, that I know people, that I have people that I can reach out to for different things. Last week I had something else that happened, which felt like shocking and unexpected, just because of the way it landed and the way things were moving. And on that example, I needed to, what do I do with this? What do I do moving forward? And I wanted to have, again, a clear yes or a clear no. I don't know how you're feeling lately, but I have been feeling like more than ever before, more than ever in my life, a clear answer is necessary around me, for me right now. And, a clear yes and a clear no in everything that I do, if possible. I'll just say it. Yeah. Is it always? No, there's still certain things that I'm working on. But if I've learned anything in the last week, is the need that I have, the desire that I have as I design or redesign my life. I'm consciously redesigning my life right now. I've been redesigning my life over and over since my mid-20s. And now I'm aware when it's like, oh, I'm going through that again. I'm redesigning something. And so this time around, one of the things that I'm including in the design of the life that I want to live, the life that I want to enjoy, is that clarity of yes and no. With that, for me, comes, commitment. Like, I'm committed to the yes, or I'm committed to the no. And also those people, those conversations that I can have with people that understand and respect the core values, that know me, the people that know who I am, the people that know what I'm passionate about, what drives me, what motivates me, and how beautiful it is to have those connections. So I was really surprised and happy at the same time that I'm experiencing this. Because last week, like I said, something happened. It threw me off. I wasn't expecting what showed up. And then I wanted to make a decision, which, again, in the past, I would have been like, that's it, decision done, whatever. This time around, I'm like, okay, let me really process what's happening. And again, there was this sense of gratitude of, I knew who I could reach out to and say, hey, check this out. This is happening. What am I missing? And having someone that says, okay, here's a perspective, here's another one. And then being aware that that person can only help me up to a certain degree. And then taking a break, meeting someone else and saying, okay, I got this far. Now I need to make another decision. And this time it was a yes. A part of me wanted to say yes, or a part of me was saying, yes, do it. It's going to be fine. There was a part of me that was like, no, I don't want to do it. But after having this conversation with my mentor, she's one of my teachers, I felt I had this clear yes. Like I knew that it was going to be a yes. And what I'm getting at, without giving too much detail about what's happening, and I don't give that detail about what's happening because, to be honest, it's already happened. It's moved on. What I want to honor and respect right now, it's the learning that I got from it. I'm a big believer that the more I talk about certain things, the more they just kind of spin around because I'm feeding them and I'm giving them fuel. And certain things I just genuinely, they're not helpful. And certain things will spin around. Some people would say because I'm spinning them around, but in reality, they spin around because of everyone else's energy that's shifting that around. So without having to say too much of it, it was just a beautiful experience to see, one, that I have enough people around me that I can go to for support. Two, that I am aware that I want to make clear yes and no decisions, because I was really good at doing that. I had really good clarity for a long time. And then I went through a period where it just felt like I needed to be different. I needed to say yes and no in a different way, instead of the way I was saying it, with certainty and with, I don't even know what the word is. There's a word with it. Assertiveness. Because to some people I came across as rude or aggressive, but it wasn't meant to be rude or aggressive. It was, for me, it was just clear. It's like, no. Right? So as I started shifting that and making it a little less assertive, what ended up happening to me was I started feeling a little more confused. Like, yes. And then people are like, yes, or yes. And then I would say yes, but I didn't want to be too assertive because I didn't want to insult anyone. I didn't want to confuse anyone. So my little yeses were kind of in a little mouse kind of voice, like, okay, yes. When deep inside, what I wanted to say was yes or no. That's it. So lesson learned. And in the last month, the last year, I have surrounded myself with people that I can have conversations in my daily life. And I know who to go to for what, when I need to have a clear yes or a clear no. And all of them are respectful and mindful that at the end of the day, it's my decision. And they're aware and mindful that what I'm seeking for is not a, yeah, sure, do it. I'm looking for a space to explore, what am I missing? I'm missing something here. And they do it in such a way that speaks to me. And what I'm getting at is the importance of clarity in the core values, that when they are respected, we can have this kind of conversations in a good way. And the awareness that sometimes there are people that their values are different than ours. Their way of communicating is different than our way of communicating. And in the process, somebody's values are going to be disrespected. The conversation's not going to flow smoothly. And that's okay. It's as simple as that. Like I said, because even with the friends that I have, which are not that many, but I love the ones I have, and they're close and they know me, I know who to go to for what. And this, last week was a great example. I went to 3 different people, 3 different things. I wouldn't go for one, I wouldn't go to all 3 with all same things. Like, that just doesn't make sense. It was also a reminder of, the different versions of myself. I talked about authenticity not too long ago, about the importance of how we show up and just showing up authentically how we feel. And in that example, I used the example of clothing. Sometimes I want to wear my jeans and a hoodie and, I don't know, running shoes, and that's authentic for me. And other times I want to wear, my other times I want to wear my high heels and my dresses, and that's authentic for me too. So it's just knowing what to wear in whatever feels comfortable, right? I feel like it's the same with my friendships and the relationships I have. And yeah, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I see that. And I'm grateful that I'm able to recognize that in my life with the people that I have, that I know that I have them, that I know that they're there, that I know that I'm recognizing more and more, who to go to. And I have a couple of friends that are older than me. A couple of friends are in their 60s, in their 50s. And when I listen to them, I used to listen to their conversations, and they would say things along the lines of, oh, I know who I need to talk to bounce off this idea. Or, oh, I need who I need to talk to, just play this scenario. And I used to say, well, why can't you just talk to anyone? Because in my mind, I was like, well, aren't they all your friends? Aren't they all the same? And last week was a big reminder for me that no, they're not. And that's okay. And that's beautiful. Because then the depth of the conversation goes even deeper with certain people. So the reason why I'm talking about all of this is because of the powerful yes and the powerful no. And how sometimes we don't say our powerful yes or our powerful no we always go down to it, or I always boil it down to like fear, afraid of being judged, afraid of being, dismissed, afraid of past experiences. I have examples from experiences where I voiced or expressed my opinion, or I expressed my point of view about something, and it just got dismissed, or it got ignored, or it got judged. And then it almost feels like, well, the next time maybe I shouldn't say that, or the next time maybe I don't want to do that. And yeah, like I said, there's places and spaces, we don't want to talk about certain things with certain people in certain groups. Understood. However, our yes and no, I feel like those are ours. Our yes and our no, and they're non-negotiable, really, unless it's like an extreme example, which sometimes I understand can be shifted. But if there's something that's happening that I don't feel comfortable with, I want to be able to say no confidently and with clarity. And if it comes across like aggressive or too much, take acceptance to say, well, that may be how it lands on the other side. That's not how I meant it. But being aware that sometimes people struggle with the no's and the yes. People struggle to say no, and people struggle to say yes. And, at the end of the day, we're all moving at our own pace. It doesn't mean I have to change or shift my pace if it feels good for me, if it feels comfortable for me. I want to continue to say yes, and I want to continue to say no. And I want to continue to have a place where I can go and find the support that I need from a neutral perspective. And the reason why it's important for me with the powerful yes and the powerful no is because whatever I'm saying yes to, I'm saying no to something else. And the same goes the other way around. Whatever I'm saying no to, I'm saying yes to something else. I know it's simple, but back in my early 30s, when I lived in England, I remember I worked in an office where one of my colleagues, he loved helping people. Like he loved it to the max. He loved it so much that he would just say yes to everyone. If you went up to him, like if you needed help, all you had to do was go up to him and ask him. And even if he didn't know how to do it, he would say yes, just to help you. And I realized he was one of the guys that at the end of the day, we would all be going home and he would be staying there an extra hour or two working. So one day I asked him, why don't you go home? And he said, well, I need to catch up on all my work. And I said, why are you behind? I mean, you always seem to be behind. And he said, well, it's because I was helping so-and-so and I was helping so-and-so and I was helping so-and-so. And I invited him to reflect on something. I said, how about, well, that's kind of unfair. And I know fair is relative and life's not unfair or whatever, sure. But to a certain degree, we can make it fair if we really want to. So I said to him, what if the next time someone comes and asks you for help, you take on what they're asking and you say, sure. In exchange, they can help you with something. Because while you are using your time to help them with their task, they can use that free time that you've given them to help you with something else. Then you don't have to stay here an hour or 2 hours later. And I remember he sat there and he looked at me kind of amazed and confused at the same time. And he said, actually, that's not a bad idea. And I said, when I've done that. And when I do that, what I notice is if it's someone that genuinely wants, support and believes in collaboration, they'll say, sure, what can I help you with? And then I'll give them a task. I'll give them something. And it doesn't have to be something that I'm specialized in, clearly, because maybe they're not specialized in, but there's always something that they can help me with. So I started doing that and it worked really well for me. So I told him, whenever people ask me, I'll help them and then they'll help me with something. And that's something that I also apply myself because I'm a big believer, treat others the way you want to be treated. But then sometimes people treat you the way they want to be treated, which is not the way that you would treat them. And so that creates a whole another layer of another conversation. But because I do that, when I ask people for help, I make an effort to say, hey, can you help me with this? And if they're doing something else, or if I know that they're busy, I'll ask, is there anything I can do to help you while you do this thing for me? And at least give them the option. They can, of course, say yes. They can, of course, say no. That's up to them. But there's a conversation there, right? Because the moment they say yes to helping me with that thing, then they're saying no to something else. They're not going to do something for themselves. It's like the moment we say, yes, we'll go to that party, even though we don't want to go because we really wanted to stay home. Now we're saying no to our comfort or to our peace of mind, for example. When we're working on projects, the moment we say, yes, I'll take on that project, then we're saying no to the commitment that we had made. I've seen that many times when people are like, never again will I work on a project that it's last minute. It's too chaotic. I don't want to do that. It's not my thing. And then the opportunity shows up and then people forget that commitment they made to themselves. And they're like, okay, I'll do it again. So they'll say yes to helping in that project. They'll say yes to that chaos, to that last minute thing. And what they're saying no to is their inner peace, even the commitment that they made to themselves. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That's my conversation with myself. That's where I'm at this week. The awareness of, hey, I guess I must be growing up. I say these jokingly, and at the same time, I say it with awareness that why not? As we get older, as I get older, I acquire more knowledge and more awareness of myself most than anything. Then I'm able to see things that I had missed before, and I'm able to see things that I hadn't even thought about before. So recognizing the friends that I have and recognizing the awareness that I have within me of the importance of saying yes and saying no with clarity. And, definitely there's certain times that I can make these decisions all on my own when it's possible. However, I'm aware that there are times when when I have a lot going on, when I have like multiple projects, and what is helpful for me is to have a conversation. So I'm celebrating that and I'm happy for that. And I'm just wondering, what else is going to come out of this growth and this expansion. And I'm recognizing how beautiful it is to have the ability to create space for me to say yes and say no to something. So, yeah, the power of yes and the power of no, and the importance of making those decisions with enough information that just feels good. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's all I have to share about that today. There's always something else. There's always a lot. There's so much that goes on through my mind. I still want to keep these spaces, focused on something, and then leaving room for, if you and I were having a conversation, what would you say? What would your thoughts be about a clear yes and a clear no? And what about your friends? Do you know? Do you have some that you go to? And if you do, that's amazing. Then you totally had it before I did. I wasn't even aware. Maybe I was doing it before and I just wasn't aware. But how amazing and how powerful it is when I became aware, because now I know, I have this person for this and I have that person for that. And then I recognize now, oh, right, that makes sense. That's why they only come to me for certain things. And that just kind of flows yeah, it was insightful. So there you go. There you have it. And yeah, it makes me wonder if you were here or you are here, but if we were able to have a conversation, what are some of the things that you're saying no to for whatever reason that are powerful for you? Because by saying no to that, you're saying yes to something amazing. And what are the things that you're saying yes to that are actually costing you a no to something else, something that could be giving you peace of mind or more clarity or more joy in life? So yeah, the power of the yes and the power of the no. Alrighty, that's all I have for today. I do wish you an amazing rest of your time, evening, day, whatever, whenever you are. And yeah, until next time, bye.